This is the only rod guide you will need in Fish after the brand new update. The game has completely changed after this update, meaning the order which you should get rods, what rod you should have, everything about rods has completely changed. There's been rods like the Arctic rod that have been completely nerfed into the ground and are horrible now. And there's also new rods like the Erythro Prism rod that gives an 8 times money multiplier on like 50% of Fish. Dude, Fish has completely changed, but this video is going to tell you exactly what rod you should have. Anyways, watch all the way till the end to see what rod you should get based on all like your Fish preferences. And if this helps, you have to subscribe. Anyway, guys, starting off at level 1, I'm not gonna go too in depth about the beginner rods today, but I will explain it really quick just in case there are any like super new players watching. You start with the flimsy rod. I recommend just farming and doing the quest until you have enough to get the carbon rod. Then once you guys have enough to get the carbon rod, get that and then get a boat and go over to Rosslet Bay. Farm over in this little spot at Rosslet Bay until you have enough to get the steady rod. And if you guys didn't know, the steady rod is right next to the blacksmith dude right here for 7,000 credits. And then once you have the steady rod, you guys, I recommend farming over at near Grand Reef. It's called Atlantean Storm. If you didn't know, if you zoom really wide out, there's these squares. Whenever you are in these squares, you are in the Atlantean Storm. These 2 squares with the little tornado things. Yeah, Fish here, it's the best spot for money for like beginners. But guys, there's some very good brand new spots that I recommend for anyone who isn't a beginner. But before I say that, I have to tell you guys what rod you should get. First off, I would say I used to say, all right, what I used to say is that after you get the steady rod, you should grind 25,000 until you can get the Arctic rod. But now the Arctic rod is completely garbage, which makes it just a little bit harder for newer players. And the first rod I'm actually going to recommend to you guys is in Atlantis. If you guys don't know how to get to Atlantis, I have a video on that called my Fish Beginner Guide. Please watch that. It tells you basically everything you need to know about enchant relics and how to get to Atlantis. Anyways, guys, the first rod I'm going to recommend is not the Champions rod. We will be talking about that rod later in the video, but that one is pretty expensive, which is why I'm going to recommend you guys this rod. This rod right here next to the merchant in Atlantis is only 40,000. And let's just take a look at its stats real quick. It has 55% lure speed, 70% luck, 0.17 control, 25% resilience, and 50,000 max kg. So yeah, this rod is very good. Obviously, the max kg could get better. The lure speed could be better, which is why you could get hasty on this rod. But I don't recommend getting hasty or any enchants on this rod. I recommend farming it until you guys have 80,000 credits, which is when we are actually going to talk about the Champions rod. Once again, the Champion rod is another rod that you can get inside of Atlantis, and it costs 80,000 credits, which may seem steep. It may seem like that'll take a long time to grind, especially as a beginner, but trust me, if you use the Depth Seeker rod, you can get there way faster. And you may be asking, what is so good about the Champions rod? Guys, look at the stats. 45% lure speed, 65% luck, 0.25 control, 30% resilience, 200,000 max kg. Meaning if you have the Champions rod, not only can you catch any fish in the game like a Megalodon. By the way, I see all your guys' comments about how I say Megalodon. I'm coming to your house and I'm gonna hit you like this. Bah! But yeah, you can literally catch any rod with the Champions rod, any fish in the game. And if you didn't know, this is what the Arctic rod used to be. The lure speed used to be 45%, the luck used to be 65%, and it also has better control and resilience than the Arctic rod used to be in the past. Meaning this is technically what I would say is the best Arctic rod replacement if you guys are just looking for one of those. But yeah, besides this, when you get this rod, you guys, I recommend grinding to get the Rod of the Depths. So this is the stats of the Rod of the Depths: 65% lure speed, 130% luck, 0.15 control, 10% resilience, and 30,000 max kg. Meaning you cannot catch Megalodons with this. You actually need to get the Herculean enchant if you want to catch Megalodons with this. But overall, everything besides that, it is a very good rod. You can catch most fish in the game. The only problem is it costs 750,000 credits, meaning it is a slow and long grind from the Champions rod all the way to the Rod of the Depths. But I will tell you guys my optimal fishing spots for money right now. The first spot I recommend is called the Veil of the Forgotten. That is a spot over in Roslip Bay, but it's actually down under. It's in Mariana's Vale, and it is the last possible level. So I know some of you guys actually do not have that spot unlocked, but that spot's super cool. You can catch Scyllas, and it's just a great spot for XP and money. But the second one, which is actually a better spot for XP, is called the Challenger's Deep. Once again, it is in Mariana's Vale, and if you guys don't know how to get to these spots in Mariana's Vale, I have a full guide on my channel. It'll be in the top right corner. You can just click the eye and then click on whichever video you guys want to watch. But yeah, the Challenger's Deep in Mariana's Vale is technically right now the best spot to fish for XP, but if you guys want money, I recommend for you guys to fish in the Abyssal Zenith. Once again, this is another spot in the Mariana's Vale, so if you want to get there, just go ahead and watch my guide. But yeah, fish there, or if you can't unlock any of those spots for some reason, like you're too lazy to unlock the Mariana's Vale, go ahead and just fish in the Atlantean Storm once again. As I said, the Atlantean Storm is a very good spot for farming. And now for actually how to get the Rod of the Depths. If you didn't know, it's a very complicated rod to get, which is why I will not be talking about it in depth on this video. I have a full guide already on my YouTube channel. Once again, click the top right eye and then just click on the Rod of the Depths tutorial. Anyways, guys, once you have the Rod of the Depths, there's so many directions you can go. You can either go for the money route and try to get as much money as possible. Go for like the collection route. Like, let's say you want some cool mutations and whatnot. Like if you want greedy, if you want exalted relics, if you want like cool things and you just want a stacked up inventory. And the third route is obviously just if you want to get to 1,000 as fast as possible. Level 1,000, which is actually the max level. There's 3 different ways that we're going to go over, and they're actually all very simple. So the first one, you guys, we're actually going to go over the money route first, because this one has completely changed. It used to be a completely different game in getting money, but now that there is a new $15 million rod that is the best money rod in the game, it is completely different. The way you get money in this game is just, oh my goodness, it changed so much. But yeah, from the Rod of the Depths, the first rod I suggest you guys to grind for is the Zeus rod. The Zeus rod is one of the best money-making rods in the game right now. I'll just go ahead and show you it, you guys, real quick. As you see, it has very high lure speed, pretty good luck, control, resilience, infinite max kg. But the best thing about this rod is that it has a high chance to get an electric shock mutation every time you catch a fish. To be 100% honest, it is a 10% chance, but over time, just if you spend a lot of time fishing, it really adds up. And every time you get an electric shock mutation, it makes your fish worth 3.5 times more than it originally was. So if you sell a fish for 10,000, but you have this mutation on it, it'll sell for 35,000, which just makes it a crazy enchant. But yeah, I recommend using that rod with seaweed and also getting the steady enchant on it just to catch fish faster. And if you guys didn't know how to get this rod, you literally just have to go behind, not this statue, but you have to find the Zeus statue in Atlantis, which is actually right here. And you can get this rod 100% solo. The Kraken rod you actually can't get solo, which we will be talking about that later in the video. It is not one of the best money rods, so we'll not be going over that right now. But basically, you just have to complete these 2 puzzles. They're not that hard. And then at the end, you can just go inside of that room and purchase the Zeus rod. It costs 1.7 million credits, so I know it's a long grind, but if you fish in the Abyssal Zenith or the Veil of the Forgotten, you will 100% get there really fast. And then you guys, once you get the Zeus rod, grind up 15 million. Yes, the next rod you need is 15 million credits. I don't even have it yet. I have 10 million credits. Once I get 15 million, I'm going to get this rod because it is the best one in the game for money. I actually will pull it up right now on the wiki. As you guys can see, it is called the Erythro Prism Rod. It is 15 million credits. You can buy it in the comm zone. So once again, watch my tutorial if you don't know how to get there. And look at this. It all catches have a 50% chance to get the Prismize mutation, which is 8 times multiplier. That means every time you catch a fish that costs 5,000, there is a 50% chance it will double up to 40,000. That's just insane. But yeah, once you get that rod, I recommend steady and seaweed bait. And that is really the money route. If you guys get that final rod, you will be able to get money the fastest possible way in the entire game, especially if you fish in the Veil of the Forgotten or the Abyssal Zenith. The next one we're going to go over is the stacked inventory route. So if you want to go this route, there's a couple ways you could go about it. You don't need to get all these rods, but I'm just going to tell you all the rods that you should get if you really want cool mutations and just a stacked inventory overall. The easiest one to get is the Voyager rod. Honestly, this one's not that cool, but if you want to catch fossilized enchant mutations just way faster, I would say definitely get the Voyager rod. It's super easy to get. It costs like 15 to 20k. The next one is the Midas rod. No, this rod is not that good, but you can catch Midas enchants with it. Especially if you have Herculean on it, you can catch really cool stuff like this big Midas Mosasaurus, which, I mean, it's just a cool enchant. But now for the one that I recommend literally anyone who plays Fish to get, because you need enchant relics, especially exalted enchant relics. And yes, I'm talking about the rod of the exalted one. Not only is it actually, it's a pretty good rod with really high luck and can catch megalodons, but this one gives you a 2.5 higher chance to catch an exalted relic anytime you fish. So it's usually a 1 in 2,000 chance to catch an exalted relic, but with this one, it is only a 1 in 800 chance, making it a lot better. If you guys want to see that, I have a full guide to get that one in the top right as well. Now, real quick, we have to talk about the crystallized rod, because if you do not have the crystallized rod, it is literally impossible to, first of all, get crystallized enchant relics, and second of all, literally get anything that's crystallized. You need this rod. It is 100% required. But yeah, this one is also kind of complicated to get, but it's also in my Rod of the Exalted One tutorial. So if you guys want to watch that, The last one I recommend for a stacked inventory is the Kraken rod. I only say this because it can give the tentacle surge mutation. Also, this rod's just pretty cool. Like, if you have this one, you kind of have a little bit more aura. You just got like tentacles following you. Oh yeah, this one's very simple to get. You just have to get it in Atlantis. Very, very easy, but you have to fully unlock Atlantis, which it requires 2 players. I know some of y'all are gonna complain, but hey, you actually don't need to get this rod at all. Anyways, guys, now for the XP route, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to go for, and actually that's what I went for. But dude, now it is way easier. I mean, all you need to do if you have the Rod of the Depths right now is literally get this one rod called the Challenger's Rod, which to be honest, I really thought I bought it, but I guess I didn't. So I will just pull it up on the wiki real quick. This is a really good XP rod, especially because every fish you lure has a 20% progress speed modifier, meaning it's 20% faster no matter what. And yes, this rod costs 2.5 million, but remember, if you grind with the Rod of the Depths, you can get there. And yeah, if you get clever on this rod, and the best fishing spot for XP right now is the Challenger's Deep, specifically at night, but just the Challenger's Deep. And you do that with clever, with the Challenger's rod in the Challenger's Deep, you will get to max level very quickly. And yes, that's the only rod right now you need to get max level and eventually get the Seraphic rod. And once you guys get the Seraphic rod, I recommend the Quantum enchant, which I finally got on my rod. But it just gives it a higher chance to get money. And Seraphic rod is still a really good money rod, but the Erythral Prison is just so much better for making money now. I mean, it's 15 million. I expect it to be better. But yeah, that's actually it. That's the entire rod guide. It's so weird. The rods have changed so much. But if this guy's helped you in any way, if it helped you in any way, please make sure to subscribe and leave a like. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace!